Good morning, my back. Here's the plan. There is work going on a floor in that outside laundry area, the clothes drying area really. Papa Jess, the electrician, is rechecking all the connections prior to starting to install outlets, sockets, and then switches. There is work going on to continue to fix the wooden floors. There is, of course, a lot more painting going on. There's 100 things going on today. It's a busy site. We've got one of the crew is not here, but everyone else is in. Should be a good day. After yesterday's little drama, today, what could possibly go wrong? In the laundry drying area, starting to get the beginnings of our concrete floor here. So the beginnings being at the moment just some basic metal forms going in place, and then the normal slab laying process will follow. In the dirty kitchen, painter Mr. Willie, continuing to work on all the wood surfaces for all of these cabinets, drawers, everywhere here. A lot more work still to be done there. Lots of activity in the main kitchen. Oliver this morning has already finished punching through the concrete slab on top of the island. Then the rebar will have to be removed from this area. It should still be structurally completely fine. You've got more, there's another rebar on the outside edge that will hold everything together. Then we'll need the cabinet maker guys to cut out the top of the cabinet that's located under here. And then they're ready, potentially, to put the gas hob in. More work on these doors. This was going on yesterday and is continuing today. And inside the pantry. Willie was working on this yesterday. It's Erwin's turn today. A lot more paint going on. The very painstaking work of getting the treads on the stairs up to scratch, or I suppose scratching them to a good finish using sandpaper, continuing. Still a lot more work to be done just here. We think today the glass guys will be here to put in the banisters and the balustrade upstairs. Papa Jess, our electrician, trying to make sense of this forest of cable. The next steps in the process here are he's going to recheck all of these connections, then he will start to install the sockets and then the switches. And when all of those are in, that's the point at which a call is made to City Hall, who then have to send an electrical engineer to check everything, make sure they're happy that everything's been done right. Once that's been done, then the application goes in to have our own proper power supply connection. So it's still a little way away, but that lack of a power connection is kind of holding up a few bits and pieces at the moment. I mean, one of the things that can't properly be done is getting the air cons all tested. We can't properly have the solar systems working to their full extent until we have this, and we certainly can't have the solar systems set up so that in the event of a brownout, the solar system will kick in. At the moment, it doesn't. It's not set up to do that. So this is getting to a crucial stage here where Papa Jess has to be confident that everything is right, sockets are in, and then the application begins. This is Alex's room, where again, rescue work is going on with the flooring. So just to clarify what was said yesterday, when the wood was installed, they did leave the gap around the outside edge. It was only when the painters came through that the problem was created because they filled in those gaps. So, as David Craycraft has commented already this morning, it is rule number 1 for laying a wooden floor, including a laminated floor. Make sure that air gap exists all the way around the outside. Painting in the double height area over the back of the sunroom. Continuing. So bringing this to a nice bright white. I wasn't sure whether we were going to extend the wood appearance down to the beam, but we're not. That's staying as a white, and I think that's the right decision. Otherwise, it will probably feel a little bit over-designed, and we're constantly trying to avoid that. We've just had another conversation with the builder this morning, just again to talk about when will this be finished. It's now the 3rd of November, and we've constantly said we want to be able to move in before our kids arrive, the first of whom arrives actually on the 28th of November, then 2 more in mid-December. So the builder has again said that by the end of November we'll be done, but the limitation is we'll be done inside. The outside at that point almost certainly will not be finished. There's still such a lot of painting to do. There's a whole driveway to be built, so there's quite a lot more to do, but that's okay as long as we can move in at the end of this month. So roughly 4 weeks, 4.5 weeks. That's the plan at the moment. We'll see. It is just after lunch. Before we go inside, quick request, again, sorry. If you've made it this far, and you know our rules by now, if you've been watching for a while, if it doesn't make you violently ill, would you please press the like button? That would be hugely appreciated. In fact, Phil Coleman suggested I should get YouTube to have a new button which just says not violently ill. So press that one for me. Go on. I'll wait. Good job. Thank you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you know what I'm going to ask next. Would you mind subscribing? Right, let's go and see what's been happening. Here is the beginnings of our laundry drying floor slab. Erwin has been busy over here this morning, already getting some of the concrete hollow blocks in, probably about a quarter of the way round. It is hot today. He's fortunate that he's on the side of the house that at the moment has got quite a bit of shade. Papa Jess, our electrician, is still in here where all of the wiring in the house comes to, where the utility actually will enter the house and then get spread around everywhere else. So I don't know whether he's going to get to doing any of the outlets installation today, or if this is just going to consume all of the workday. We'll see. The rebar is gone. So they've cut right the way through. Probably, I'm assuming they'll do a little bit of tidy up on the edges, although it will be effectively completely invisible. But I'm sure they will do some tidy up here. I don't think they will cut through the cabinet. They'll leave that to the cabinet makers whenever they come back. And work on this door, still going on. One thing I've seen on a lot of the Philippine build channels is the attention to detail on finishing wood frames for doors and windows if they are wooden. Just painstaking hours and hours and hours of finishing processes, whether it's sanding or lacquering or painting or puttying or painting again or sanding again. It just goes on and on and on. There is a real attention to detail with the woodworking side of the house. It's really lovely to see. And here by the stairs, more and more painting, and no surprise, more and more sanding. It just continues. At the moment, still no sign of our glass guys. No idea if they will actually eventually make it today. Just in case anyone's been missing a fix of grout, here we go. Alson's mixing some up to be used on the walls and floor for Sabrina's bathroom. The floor rescue continues in the master bedroom. So again, they've removed all of the skirting boards. I guess now dug out everything. You might be able to make out there are the spacers which they did put in when they first put this floor down. But unfortunately, that's the little gap which got filled in. So make sure next time around it's not filled in. It's 4:30. The bell has rung. The guys are about to head out and get wet. The rain started about 30 minutes ago. It's just eased off a fraction now, but not looking good. Lots of grey sky. Before we go and see what's been going on, here's a contribution from Wally Trink. The teacher's got a class of young boys. One of them says, "Miss, I can see your ankles." "You cheeky young fellow," she says, "I'm sending you home. Don't come back until tomorrow." A few minutes later, the second voice pipes up. "Miss, I can see your knees." "Oh, you are so bad. I'm sending you home. Don't come back until next week." A few minutes later, she drops the chalk, bends over to pick it up, turns round, and a little boy is standing up and starting to walk out. She says, "Where are you going?" He says, "Miss, with what I've just seen, I think my school days are over." Let's go and see what's been going on inside and out. At the laundry drying area, I'm getting wet. This is going to be brief. Concrete hollow blocks all around the outside. Backfill started. Let's move on. Inside the dirty kitchen, you know the drill by now. Lots more preparation of wood surfaces. No obvious major step forward today. It's just a case of little by little getting the job done. In the pantry, it's too dark to get anything usable in there. More preparation work on woodwork again. Surfaces becoming brighter and whiter and smoother, I assume. I wonder when we're going to get our front door installed. I assume it'll be pretty late in the whole process, as they don't want to risk banging it too much when they're going in and out of the house, which is still obviously fairly constant. Another one of the little tiny jobs that you really don't notice going on, but it's these things that happen a lot, is there's a little bit more attention being paid today to the soffits and where the soffits meet the wall. It's far from tidy, but they're starting to clean up those edges, give us nice crisp definition between the soffit and the wall. This glass is so clear, it's almost as if it isn't there. Oh no, it isn't there. The glass guys clearly are operating at the moment on an extended version of Philippine time. No sign of them today. We'll check with the engineer tomorrow morning and see if he's got any update on when this balustrade might arrive and the banisters for the stairs. Quite honestly, if it's not for a while longer, I suspect that the guys that are working on the stairs, mostly Ernie and Resty, probably be quite happy. It means they don't have to work around glass banisters. They can just get on cleaning up without worrying about banging into glass, even though that glass is tempered and it's supposed to be strong. We've mentioned before that it can chip. So maybe not getting the glass in here is no bad thing just yet. This is the entrance to Alex's room, and it's the door that I showed, I think it was yesterday, which really wouldn't close without really scraping into the floorboards. It closes perfectly now. I don't know if that's a final fix or if there is still more work to be done. We'll obviously keep an eye on this over the next few weeks and see if there's any recurrence. now that they've, I think, reopened the air gap around the outside edge, hopefully that's all it takes. There was a suggestion from Donald Heller who said maybe we need to switch on the aircon to make sure we dry things out as much as possible. Unfortunately, the aircon's not connected yet, so we may still follow his lead and maybe bring in some fans and see if somewhere tucked away we might have a dehumidifier that might help. But for now, the floor in this room looks a lot better. Well, looks is the wrong word. It is a lot flatter than it was, but we'll keep an eye on it. So that is it for the day. Again, no overtime today. There may be some overtime on something new tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. Nothing huge today. The flooring for the laundry area is probably the biggest, most visible change. No glass. Never mind. So, small steps again at the moment. Lots of steps that are really quite hard to notice unless you look very closely. But very important steps nevertheless. So that's it. See you tomorrow.